A machine built before the moon landing is still showing up on job sites today, outdigging, outlifting, and outlasting equipment that costs 10 times more. No touchscreen, no computer module, no dealer required to fix it. Just raw, overbuilt mechanical muscle. Modern backhoes break down and the entire machine locks up waiting for a software update. These old iron beasts, you fix them with a wrench and get right back to work. Here are 10 backhoes from the 60s and 70s that still absolutely dominate. Number 1. Case 580, Construction King. Let's start with the undisputed legend. In 1966, Case launched what would become arguably the most recognizable backhoe line ever sold, the Case 5080. And they called it exactly what it was, the Construction King. By 1970, just 4 years after it hit the market, 1 out of every 4 backhoes sold in North America was wearing a 580 badge. Let that sink in. 1 in 4. That is not a successful product launch. That is a domination. The 5080 arrived with a torque converter transmission and an operator station that was cleverly designed for quick seat spins. The operator could flip from loader work to hoe work without getting off the machine. That sounds basic today, but in 1966 that was revolutionary thinking. It changed how crews operated on job sites. The original Case 580 was powered by Case's own 188 cubic inch diesel engine. It had a backhoe digging depth of 14 feet, a loader bucket capacity of around 1 cubic yard, and an operating weight in the 11,000 to 13,000 pound range depending on configuration. Hydraulic system pressure ran around 1,500 psi, more than adequate for serious excavation work. Here is what makes this machine remarkable even by today's standards. Its simplicity. The hydraulic cylinders, the frame, the boom assembly. All of it was engineered to be repaired in the field by a mechanic with basic tools. No proprietary diagnostic software. No dealer login required. You could source a blown seal, swap it out, and be digging again by afternoon. The 580 series kept evolving through the CK variant in the late 60s into the 70s, and these early construction kings are still working on farms, ranches, and small construction operations across America. You can find a solid running 580 CK today for a few $1,000s. Try buying any modern machine with equivalent capability for that price. You can't. Number 2. High Dynamic Dynahoe. Model A. The Dynahoe is one of the most underappreciated machines in construction history, and it deserves serious respect. In 1959, the High Dynamic Company of Lake Bluff, Illinois, introduced the Dynahoe Model A to the market. While every other backhoe at the time was essentially a farm tractor with bolt-on attachments, the Dynahoe was different from the ground up. It was purpose-built as an excavating machine, heavily constructed from the frame to the boom, specifically to dig. The numbers tell the story. The average backhoe loader in the early 1970s had a digging depth of 14 to 17 feet, carried around an 80 horsepower engine, and weighed roughly 10 tons. The largest Dynahoe, by contrast, had a digging depth of 20 feet, packed a 155 horsepower engine, and weighed 16 tons. This machine made modern spec backhoes look underpowered. The Model A came equipped with a Continental F244 gasoline engine, developing 65 horsepower. By 1961, High Dynamic offered a diesel option with a Detroit 353 engine, and by 1964 gasoline engines were phased out entirely. The machine offered a 14,000-pound operating weight and a 14-foot dig depth even in that first generation. When Bucyrus Erie acquired High Dynamic in 1971, production continued and the machines got even more capable. The flagship Dynahoe 204 eventually reached a 36,000-pound operating weight, 4-wheel drive, and a 20-foot dig depth. But here is the most extraordinary fact. Many of the original Dynahoe Model A machines from 1959 and the 1960s are still in use today, not in museums, on actual job sites. Because the Dynahoe was built so massively overbuilt that it simply refuses to die. That is engineering that modern accountants would never approve. Number 3. Ford 4500 Industrial Backhoe. Ford is known for trucks and cars. But in the 1960s, Ford built one of the toughest backhoes to ever turn a bucket of dirt, the Ford 4500 Industrial. This machine came out of Ford's industrial tractor division and represented their serious commitment to the construction equipment market. The Ford 4500 used a 3-cylinder diesel engine and a straightforward mechanical transmission that operators loved for its predictability and ease of service. What made the 4500 special was its overbuilt simplicity. The frame was heavy. The boom and dipper stick were thick-walled steel. The hydraulics were straightforward and accessible. There was nothing on this machine that could not be understood, diagnosed, and repaired by a reasonably skilled mechanic with the proper manual, which came with the machine. Operators who have run both old and new equipment consistently describe the 4500 as a machine that just works. The controls are direct and responsive. The machine gives you feedback through the seat and the levers in a way that modern pilot control machines with electronic dampening do not. Experienced operators say they could feel exactly what the bucket was doing in the ground, an important skill in precision trenching and utility work. The Ford 4500's rugged durability means that machines from the late 1960s are still running today, often on farms and small construction operations where the owner handles all the maintenance themselves. Parts remain available. The machines are relatively simple to work on, and they dig. Number 4. JCB 3C. To understand the JCB 3C, you have to understand the company behind it. Joseph Cyril Bamford. J.C. Bamford founded JCB in 1945 in Uttoxeter, Staffordshire, England. He holds the distinction of being the only non-American in the U.S. construction industry's Hall of Fame. That tells you the global impact this man and his machines made. JCB launched the world's first dedicated backhoe loader in 1957, meaning the loader and backhoe were permanently attached to the chassis, not bolted onto an agricultural tractor. In 1965, JCB followed that up with the world's first 360-degree excavator. These people were inventing the future of construction equipment. The JCB 3 series was first conceived in 1960, with pre-production models shown at the Crystal Palace plant show in the summer of 19. What this machine pioneered was the JCB Hydroslide system, allowing the backhoe to be repositioned anywhere across the frame. That was a genuine innovation in job site versatility that operators immediately recognized and valued. By the time the JCB 3C was in full production through the late 1960s and into the 1970s, it had evolved into a tough, versatile machine that could handle digging, loading, and site preparation in one package. JCB introduced the extender hoe for the 3C in 1975, extending the reach and depth of the backhoe arm, adding even more capability to machines already proven in the field. The 3C's legacy is so powerful in the United Kingdom and Ireland that the word JCB became a genericized trademark, the way people call all vacuum cleaners Hoover. Any backhoe or excavator in the UK is commonly called a JCB by the general public. That is the level of cultural penetration this machine achieved. Number 5. Case 530, Construction King. Before the famous 580 series, Case had the 530, a machine that earned serious respect among contractors who put it through hard daily use. The Case 530 Construction King was a compact but capable backhoe loader that proved itself on utility work, trenching, foundation digging, and farm drainage projects across North America. It was powered by a reliable Case diesel engine and featured the same rugged frame design philosophy that would define the 580 series that followed it. What operators and owners who still run these machines today consistently praise is the mechanical directness of the experience. When you move a lever on a 530, the hydraulic cylinder responds. There is no electronic control unit mediating the command, no load sensing system introducing a delay. You operate it, and it does exactly what you tell it to do. The 530 is also notably easy to maintain. Everything is accessible. The hydraulic system is laid out logically. Seal kits are still available. And because Case produced these machines in enormous numbers and kept spare parts in circulation for decades, keeping a 530 running is an achievable task for any mechanically competent owner. Today you can find working Case 530 machines for prices that represent remarkable value, and they will dig ditches as reliably as they did the day they rolled off the line, which is something that cannot be said for every piece of equipment manufactured in the last decade. Number 6. John Deere 3110. John Deere entered the backhoe loader market with characteristic seriousness, and the 310, introduced in the early 1970s, quickly became one of the most trusted backhoes in North American construction history. The original 3110 carried a 52-horsepower engine and delivered a digging depth of 181 inches right at 15 feet, which was competitive with anything on the market at the time. But the numbers only tell part of the story. The reason the 3110 became so widely used and is still valued today comes down to how John Deere designed the machine to be operated and serviced. Service access on the 30 was excellent by any standard. Hydraulic components were logically located. The engine was accessible. Operator controls were ergonomic and intuitive. John Deere operators who had grown up running Deere agricultural tractors could step into a 3110 and feel immediately comfortable. The 3110 launched one of the most enduring backhoe series in construction history. The 3110A, 3110C, and all the subsequent variants followed from this original machine. But the early 3110 itself, the bare metal, mechanically simple original, is still respected by contractors who value repairability and straightforward operation over digital features. Parts availability for early Deere 310 machines remains good, supported by the vast dealer network that John Deere built over generations. And the machines themselves, when properly maintained, demonstrate a durability that modern plastic-bodied, computer-managed equipment cannot match on a dollar-for-dollar basis. Number 7. Dynahoe 160. When High Dynamic upgraded and expanded their lineup in 1966 with a new 3-digit model numbering system, where the first 2 digits indicated digging depth in feet, they introduced machines that pushed the capability envelope of the entire industry. The Dynahoe 6T was the larger machine in the initial updated lineup, with a digging depth of 16 feet and a significantly more powerful engine than the original Model A. These machines were built for contractors who needed maximum production out of a wheeled backhoe, utility contractors, pipeline crews, municipal infrastructure teams. The philosophy behind the Dynahoe was entirely different from competitors. While Case, Ford, and Deere were all adapting agricultural tractor platforms to construction use, the Dynahoe was designed by engineers who thought first about excavation and built outward from that requirement. The result was a heavier, more capable, more expensive machine, but one that could outperform anything in its class on serious digging assignments. When Bucyrus Erie acquired High Dynamic in 1971 and continued the line, the Dynahoe 160B and subsequent B-Series machines received even more powerful Detroit diesel engines and upgraded hydraulics. These machines became fixtures on heavy utility contracts where dig depth and raw digging force mattered more than compact size or fuel economy. The Dynahoe 60's legacy lives in the operators who ran them, many of whom will tell you flatly that they have never seen a wheeled backhoe dig as hard, as deep, and as consistently as a Dynahoe in good condition. Number 8. International Harvester 3414. International Harvester IH was one of the great American industrial empires, and their construction equipment was built to the same standard as their legendary trucks and farm tractors. The IH 3414 backhoe loader was a product of that heritage. The 34114 was built on IH's industrial tractor chassis and featured a reliable IH diesel engine, a robust hydraulic system, and the kind of heavy frame construction that IH brought to everything they made. It was a machine designed for municipalities, utility contractors, and construction firms that needed reliable daily production. What distinguished the 3414 from competitors was partly the IH dealer network. At the time, International Harvester had one of the widest dealer footprints in North America, which meant parts and service were accessible across the country. But it was also the machine's raw durability. These were not lightly built machines. Every structural component was generously sized. Operators who remember the IH 3414 describe it as a machine that responded predictably, dug with authority, and rarely surprised you with a catastrophic failure. It was the kind of equipment that foremen trusted to show up every morning and work all day, the highest compliment in the construction business. Today, surviving IH 3414 machines are prized by collectors and by operators who understand what they have. Parts can be challenging to find compared to Case or Deere machines, but the machines themselves, when found in good condition, represent a piece of construction history worth preserving and using. Number 9. Massey Ferguson 50. Backhoe. Massey Ferguson is a name most people associate with agricultural tractors, and that association is entirely valid. But in the 1960s, MF produced industrial versions of their proven tractor platforms that were fitted with backhoe and loader equipment, and these machines proved themselves on construction sites across North America and Europe. The Massey Ferguson 50 industrial variant equipped with backhoe gear was a straightforward machine that benefited from the engineering maturity of MF's tractor line. The diesel engines were proven, the transmissions were reliable, the hydraulic systems were functional and accessible. What made these machines valued by the contractors who used them was the parts and service infrastructure that Massey Ferguson had built through their agricultural dealer network. You could walk into a Massey dealer in almost any rural area of North America and get hydraulic components, engine parts, and service support for your 50 industrial backhoe. The MF50 backhoe was not trying to be the biggest or the most powerful machine in the lineup. It was trying to be reliable, affordable, and productive, goals that it achieved. Contractors who used them for utility work, farm drainage, and rural construction trusted them because they worked every day without drama. In the construction equipment business, drama costs money. The MF50 was a drama-free machine. Number 10. JCB 4C. JCB's 4C was their more powerful, heavier-duty offering aimed at contractors who needed to tackle harder digging conditions, including rock. When JCB brought their range of machines to the North American market in 1960, the 4C represented the high end of their backhoe lineup at the time. It was a powerful machine with the capability of digging through rock, a specification that most backhoes of the era simply could not claim. Rock digging requires a combination of digging force, structural rigidity, and hydraulic system robustness that separates truly capable machines from merely adequate ones. The 4C ran a more powerful engine than the smaller 3 Series machines and featured the permanent attachment chassis philosophy that JCB had pioneered with their first dedicated backhoe loader in 1957. This meant the machine was inherently more structurally sound than tractor conversion competitors. The loader and backhoe were integral to the frame, not add-ons. In 1966, JCB followed the 4C with the larger, heavier 3D backhoe loader, a machine capable of rotating a full 360 degrees, making it one of the most versatile excavating machines available at the time. The 4C was the predecessor that made the 3D possible, proving out the engineering approach and establishing JCB's reputation for capability in North America. Today, JCB machines from this era are genuine collectibles. The company's history of innovation, launching the first dedicated backhoe loader, the first 360-degree excavator, and eventually the fastest production backhoe on the market, all traces back to these foundational machines from the 90s. If you want to see more content on vintage heavy equipment, construction history, and the machines that built the modern world, hit subscribe, leave a comment telling us which machine on this list is your favorite, and we will see you in the next one.